Hi everyone, I'm Kasuturi Sha and I've secured All India rank 68 in the UPSC Civil Service Examination, and this was my first attempt. I'd like to talk to you about how I prepared for prelims and how I cleared prelims. And there are two important things that I'd like to highlight. First is the importance of patience, and second is the importance of practice. Because initially when I took a lot of these prelims test series, the sectional tests, the micro tests, I found that for some subjects I was scoring comfortably well, say like economics, but for a subject like say for science and tech, I was not that strong. So one thing I'd say is take as many tests as possible, the sectionals as well as the comprehensive tests, because that will help us identify which areas are we strong at and which areas we need further improvement at, and so that we can accordingly prioritize our revision when it comes. So that is one advantage of taking the tests, maximum tests. So test, and through that we'll discover ourselves. And second thing, why patience, is because when the scores start dropping, say we're not able to make it to say even an 80, it might get stuck at 60s and 70s. But the thing is holding on, going on, believing in yourself and putting in effort in a consistent manner. That consistency will ultimately make an impact. So that is practice and patience. So prelims, as we know, has got two papers: the GS paper where we learn all the subjects, the general studies, current affairs, history, geography, and almost all the things. And secondly, we have the CSAT paper. So about the GS paper, one thing that matters is that keeping the mind open and giving the mind a chance to think and guess, rather than the mind working as a Google search engine, where as soon as we see a question, the first thing the mind would think would be in which book, in which page, in which area did I read this, and then the mind goes asking itself, pressurizing itself, think in which area did you find this. But rather than that, keep your mind open. We never know what we have heard or what we have seen. Might be a casual talk that we have had, but it might help us immensely in cracking a prelims question. So one thing would be to have that open thinking ability, and for that we need to, to have that open thinking ability, we need to keep our mind very calm and peaceful and not get stressed. As we know, the last prelims, when we got the question papers, there was an initial shock because there was a change in this pattern. It was nothing like what we had been used to in the previous years. But what matters is the presence of mind and the ability to adapt and be flexible in that moment. First thing is to accept that yes, questions have changed. Now I'll have to change myself, get flexible according to the nature of these questions. And another thing is not letting go. Because I still remember when I sat for my prelims examination, I did not know the answers. I did not bubble even a single answer on my OMR sheet for the initial 7 questions. So I was leaving all the questions, and ultimately when I came to the 8th question, I could bubble one. So the first question that I bubbled was the 8th question. But that doesn't mean we'll have to give up hope thinking everything is over. No, the questions that will be waiting for us further from the 8, we need to hope on that. We need to trust all the sincere effort, all the process that we have endured. So that practice that we have done will help us definitely hone the skills of solving a question. And coming to CSAT, as we know, CSAT will have the English comprehension, there will be the numerical reasoning and the logical reasoning part. So first thing is to identify which areas are you comfortably strong at. For example, I was not very strong in maths. I left maths in class 10, and also regarding solving of questions, mathematical ability, I was not pretty confident. But when it came to English comprehension part, I could comfortably manage that. So the focus area on the first hour, I used to solve the English comprehension questions first, and the next hour I used to set it apart for the maths questions. But with CSAT, what is most important is reducing the number of errors that we could commit. and solving those short questions which we are confident will fetch us marks. So if we can reduce the negatives itself, then to a large extent the CSAT scores would improve. For instance, if you are a person who is strong in, say, logical reasoning, maybe the first hour you can devote to solving your comfortable areas, and that will itself give us a confidence boost when you find yourself answering the questions that you know.